Pure Sail, Pure Spice was the theme of the 2010 Nicholsons Port Louis Grenada Sailing Festival Racing Series, in which a total of 47 boats participated, attracting crews from as far as Canada and Europe, as the festival continues to grow from its new base at Nicholsons Port Louis Marina in the parish of St. George. The Grenada Sailing Festival is said to have a slightly different history to many regattas held in the region, in that it was conceptualized from a tourism perspective, rather than creating an event purely for yacht racing. The sailing festival was not always under the name of title sponsor Nicholsons Port Louis Marina Grenada Sailing Festival Racing Series, but for some 10 years had as its title sponsor La Sauce, one of the hotels in the south of the island.
Sailing Festival started in 1994 actually. In 1995, the committee came to me and said they needed a Grenadian sponsor because they wanted to make it a Grenadian event. Would we sponsor it? The title sponsor. We're a hotel, not that business, but my father was very interested in sailing, and he was one of the first founding members of the yacht club as it exists, and in the building of that yacht club at its present location. So I found it hard to refuse him. And each year we sponsored from 1996 up to 2004. After the hurricane, they came back to us and they said, we would still like to sponsor, for you to sponsor it. Can you help us? Even though we didn't have much money, the hotel was shut because of the damage. We said yes, we would continue the sponsorship, and we made our sponsorship fee. We did 2004, 2005, 2006, so we were there for 10 years. And then when they built this facility, Port Louis, it moved to Port Louis, and they changed the sponsorship style to not having a title sponsor. It became the Grenada Sailing Festival, but it was located here because in the past they'd have to have so many different venues. Nothing was big enough to have all the functions. So you had the sailing sometimes from the boatyard, sometimes from the yacht club, sometimes from True Blue Bay. So this gave it a central location, and you see it with the emphasis. Our business is not yachting, La Sauce, but the business of Port Louis is yachting. So it has a better chance to grow under under Port Louis' sponsorship. So we were happy, very pleased to keep it going for 10 years. So it could grow into this. And this year, I think they have more boats than they've ever had. And they've actually changed to make the one weekend for sailing of the big boats and another weekend for the work boats. But the festival initially started for the work boats. Okay, it was a workboat festival, and they invited yachts just to create some crowd and foreign interest in it. The boats come from Trinidad, they come from as far as Antigua. Some of them may sail across the Atlantic at Christmas. There is a regatta that people who want to cross the Atlantic, all the boats get together and they keep each other company and they sail across, and some would come down here and race their boats. A lot of them charter boats from like the moorings or locally. And we have local boats here, and you may have owners that keep their boats in Grenada. They're foreigners, but they will race too.
In order for the sailing festival to be a success, it calls for a team of dedicated members, such as the present Grenada Sailing Festival Committee, which is chaired by an avid sailor, James Bristol. Bristol says the festival has progressed over the years despite many hurdles and challenges.
We bumped along pretty much. We were looking for a home. We started off the Grenada Yacht Club. It was a yacht club event. We moved to True Blue because the yacht club couldn't accommodate us. And then last year we moved here when Port Louis Nicholsons became the overall sponsor. and they've now got a fabulous marina. Phase 1's finished. They have the facilities to accommodate the yachts, and it'll make a fabulous permanent base. And I hope that they continue to be the main sponsor. And you know, they're going to be putting in their permanent restaurant facilities, accommodation, and so forth, beginning shortly. So that would be wonderful for the event. Already just having all the boats together in a first-class marina facility has paid dividends. Everyone's happy. Over the years, we built up a portfolio of race courses from the time of the yacht club days, and we amend them and tune them from time to time according to the input from the sailors. We rely on the honesty of the yachtsmen, but what we do is have our boats out there monitoring the marks. We put on these big orange triangles, and to make sure they don't drift. You know, some of them are in 2,000 feet of water, so we have to make sure they don't drift, and we monitor everything on water. So we have 3 boats doing that. We need the support of the sponsors, so we have to get the finance to run the event. It's a private sector event. Secondly, we need to have good publicity to attract the yachtsmen, because if we don't attract them, we have no event. We need proper race courses. We need to have the officials, our international judges, race officers, all these people in who run the races. We need to have the infrastructure here, our office, which runs 12 months of the year. We have our local people who set the race courses, all of that. We have to get boats to do all this work. So there's a lot. And then we have to source the prizes closer to the event. Publicity, working up, getting the venues organized, the entertainment. It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
The Grenada Sailing Festival attracts sailing enthusiasts from all over the world and features 4 days of races and a day-long craft market. In 2010, the boats were all docked at the Campo Nicholson Port Louis Marina, with a number of eager captains and crew, some here for the first-time experience and others their 3rd or 4th time participating. A number of the captains spoke with our crew about the housekeeping matters that has to be addressed to ensure that all is in place for smooth sailing, before heading out to sea to bask in the sunshine and enjoy the wind, the swells of the waves, along with the beauty that nature has to offer.
I have several years running now on different boats that I owned previously, and we came across this time. The weather wasn't very good, but we managed to get across here without any problems, you know. It took a little longer, but we managed to get here safe and sound.
How long did it actually take you to time?
It took us 17.5 hours this time, but usually we take about 13, 14 hours maximum usually if the weather is good. But it was a bit rough, so it took a little longer.
What sort of preparation has to be put into the boat in order to get it over here and get it proper for sailing?
Well, first of all, you have to make sure all the fittings are secure. Everything is batting down properly, secured inside the boat. You want to make sure you have enough food and water to make the crossing, and you just want to make sure that everything is tight. You know, all the fittings are secured properly, and there's no leaks on the boat. Make sure there's no water coming in, and you know, it's a very lengthy preparation to get the boat to come across here. We sail with a crew of 5, including the captain, and we have a good team for this regatta, so we hope to be doing well. Well, there are a few young ones, but they have been sailing for quite some time as well, so they're quite experienced, and we're going to give a good show this regatta. It's a wonderful festival. It's always a lot of exciting racing. This regatta, it promises to be a very successful regatta in the future. It's every year more and more boats tend to come down for this regatta.
We sailed from the Chesapeake Bay in Virginia and came down to the Caribbean and went to Trinidad. And then from Trinidad we sailed up to Grenada because Dad is racing here on the boats.
What about sailing that you like?
Well, I don't exactly know, but I like sailing. I've been on our boat since I was 6, and I've been growing up on it. So, my dad liked sailing, my mom liked sailing, my uncle liked sailing, most of my family likes sailing, and I guess I've gotten the idea now.
We've been about 6 or 7 times. This is the second time with this particular boat, and so we're hoping to do well. We know the regatta, and we've got some idea where the courses are going.
So how well have you done in the past?
Last year we were second, and I think the year before we won in the class, so we should have a good chance if it's not too windy.
What are some of the challenges you encounter?
Well, it was very rough travelling up here. Yesterday we came up and it was very, very windy, and our boat likes lighter winds, not too heavy winds, so we're hoping it'll be sunny and warm and just a nice breeze. 14 people on board today, and that's quite a lot, but that's what we need to sail this boat. It's quite a big boat, quite a fast boat.
So you said you've been up here, 6 or 7 times. What do you think of the actual Grenada Sailing Festival?
Oh no, it's an excellent regatta. I think it's one of the best in this part of the world, and so we enjoy it a lot. It's a very good regatta.
After the boat set off from the Marina, it was a rather beautiful and entertaining sight from various vantage points on the island, for many who positioned themselves to witness the racing series.
Well, if you're a racer, you take as much weight off the boat, to make it as light as possible, because your power is your sails, and what the sails have to carry is the weight of the boat. So you try to lessen the weight of the boat, and you use crew, because when you're sailing in the wind, you must keep the boat flat as much as possible. When it leans like that, it looks pretty, but that carries it a bit this way, so you want to go there, and part of the direction is this way, being pushed down. So you use your crew to keep the boat flat so you can get up. Yeah, some crew just sit on they spend the whole day just going from side to side, keeping the boat down, and a few work. Yeah.
For the first time since the start of the festival has a film team from Canada come to capture and produce a 7-part series of the event. Producer and owner of the production company, John Kike, says it's not by coincidence they're here, but due to the publicity given by sailors who participated in the event over the years.
We've heard a lot of Grenada and from the sailors itself, because we've already done one last year in Antigua, and then from there we heard about Grenada and saying this is a great place to be and you should go. So we've contacted the authorities and see if we can come here to shoot this regatta, and we got very, very strong and helpful support from everyone here. We are here with a team, a total of 12. So there is 3 teams of cameramans, 2 teams of editors, because we are shooting and editing at the same time. As of tonight, which is the first day of regatta, we should be able to provide the first episode, and we are intending to produce 7 episodes of 1 hour length each. So one day is 1 episode. So there will be 7 episodes shot here in Grenada. It will be premiere in English and French Canada this winter, and after that it will be shown all over the world. It's the first regatta of the season of the winter season starting here, and after that there's several others in the Caribbean. So this is the first place, so we wanted to be here for that. And besides, this event is fairly small, and it's very friendly, and it's very nice with the people around. So it's one of the great places for the regatta.
John, who is also a sailor, says there are always challenges to overcome when coming to a country to participate in regattas. And he also explained what the crews need to do to ensure that their boats are fit for sailing.
Well, it's always challenging because you're coming to a place you've never been before, so it was scary at first. But I'm telling you, and I'm not nice by saying this, but we got so much support, starting from the driver, Roger, that is carrying us all over the place. It's just wonderful. Not only is driving us, but is also explaining and telling us all the story and all the things that we didn't find out before. So he's bringing us much more. It's an added value to the whole production. So I'm telling you, at this point, if all the shoot that we are doing will be going as well as this, I'm a blessed man. First thing is to empty everything that is too heavy in the boat. The boat needs to be light, and also remove all the dodgers and things like that, all the material that you cover the cockpit to protect yourself against the sun. You have to remove everything, and then you need to get the right sails up. Because a cruising sail is nice, but if you're putting a racing sails, then you're going faster. So it's all those things. So a cruising boat, all of a sudden can become a racing boat if you are equipped correctly, and then if you're bringing all the heavy stuff out of the boat. The numbers is basically the choice of the boat. What's great about the story that we are telling is that it's ordinary people that never sailed in a competition before that already decide to go on a cruise, on a racing boat, and do an official regatta. So basically it's all amateur that is on the boats and having a blast and having a good time. So of course they can be 7, it can be 12. Maybe in the racing category you have more serious sailors that have a limited number, but certainly not less than 7 and certainly not more than 12. The reality of sailing, you need to follow the wind. So accordingly to what you have as type of wind, the strength of the wind and the direction of the wind, then you need to be a good strategic person in order to win the race.
We were also given a sneak peek of the work the CMJ crew were doing and what sort of equipment are used in capturing the footage out at sea.
The camera is in this waterproof case. That's another one.
After all that information, it was time to head to another location to capture some more of the excitement with the sailors at sea. Sailing Festival 2010 did not come without some disappointment for a few boats, On day 1, Nimrod got its rudder broken. AmBushe from Trinidad, a hole to the side after a collision out at sea with another boat. And for the first time in the history of the festival, a boat owned locally by the name of Blue Bayou sank. Fortunately, all 5 crew on board and said to be Americans were rescued without injury.
I've been growing up racing in Bermuda and all over the world. Raced other boats and a lot of dinghy sailing, a lot of big boat sailing, a lot of racing in the Caribbean, a lot of racing in the UK, Bermuda, all over the place, yeah. You know, we had the actual race, our race wasn't a very good race. We weren't doing so well. We should be sort of winning because we're the biggest boat here. Should be the fastest boat in our class anyway. And yeah, we coming almost to the last windward mark, and we're coming round, and we were quite heeled over on a reach, and the boat was pretty pressed over. And our steering sort of went. We lost our steering a little bit, so the boat completely broached up. So we had to retire. There was no way we could have kept racing today with the broken steering.
We haven't. We've been very lucky, very fortunate, knock wood, but there was a boat that sank yesterday, and that was a pretty unfortunate incident. We've not experienced that in an event before where we lost the whole boat. Some boats have had damage, and there's another boat here, a boat from Trinidad called AmBushe, that had some damage yesterday. They got a hole in the side yesterday, and they got it patched last night. So they were back out on the water sailing again. But most of the boats so far, other than that boat that sank yesterday, haven't had any serious damage. So that's been lucky so far.
Well, yesterday we were having a pretty good day until the second race, where we had a little incident with one of our competitors in the J24 class. Sometimes these things happen. Unfortunately, we ended up with a big hole in the side of the boat, so we had to retire from the second race. But we were doing pretty well up to that stage, so it sort of put us on the bottom of the ranking right now. That was the main objective for us, to come back ashore as soon as possible to get it repaired, and we were back out on the water today. Well, the sail, somehow we noticed between the 2 races, we ended up with a tear in one of the sections of the sail, which for now we had to repair ourselves because the sail shops are not open today to get the repairs done, the sail loft. So we had to undergo our own repairs, which will be temporary until we could get it repaired properly. Well, today was also challenging a bit. We sailed pretty well, but unfortunately we didn't get in the top 3 today. You know, we still had our minds on the incident yesterday, and the repairs held out very well. You know, one of our crew members, John, he did the repairs himself, and it was ready for us for today. The wind speed was variable today. They had light patches and they had some heavy patches of wind that we encountered, so it was continuous adjustments of the rigging and adjustments of the sail trim, you know, to keep on top. But unfortunately, our competitors had the better half of us today.
The ride is nice so far. We're now heading out to the start of day 2 of the sailing festival. Well, we have to go back in because the wind is extremely high. We have to head back to shore and try to get some shots of day 2 of the Grenada Sailing Festival from Port George, Quarantine Point, at the back of the St. George's University, and some other key locations where we can really bring the pure sail and the pure spice. We were hoping that today when we go out we would have seen the location where one of the boats unfortunately went down yesterday. All the crew was saved, and as we continue here on the Grenada Sailing Festival, I'm on board a boat. I cannot swim, but I'm enjoying it. I'm telling you, it's nice. But when we go further out to actually get the races, wow, the water just kept just keep pelting inside the side. I don't mind the wet, but you know. One of the fastest boats for the racing series went by the name of Storm. Came from the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, along with its mother boat, which has been one of the attractions on the docks at the Marina.
Storm was built in Trinidad, and we've been coming here for a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years now. We're in the racing class, and yesterday we won both races, and we haven't heard the results as yet for today, but we hope we've done well.
How many of you on board?
12 of us.
And there is also what I'd like to say, a sister ship.
Yeah, that's where we live. So we go to a lot of regattas and we take both boats and we live on one and race the next one.
What do you think of the sailing festival? Does it need improvement? Has it improved the course that you're racing on?
It has improved a lot, and this facility here is fantastic. Camper Nicholson is great, and the sailing conditions are as good as you get anywhere in the world. We like a lot of wind and sea and things, so that suits us. We've been a team for a long time, so we do well in adverse conditions. So to us, it's great.
Robbie is a local sailor, and he says the weather could not have been better for sailing.
I've been in the festival for about 6 years now. We sail a J24, it's 24 feet. The smallest class in the boat, but we are all exactly the same, so it's the most fun. My sponsor is Grenada Island Water World, right? And we have a lot of fun. This is an excellent regatta, a good facility, and most of us keep coming back every year. It is fun, right? But it's a bit windy yesterday. It's scary at times. We went up the south coast. It was very strong winds, gusting up to 13 knots, which is about 40 miles an hour. Very, very big sea. Sometimes the sea is crashing over the boat. As a matter of fact, one of these boats actually sunk. It capsized and filled up with water, but everybody was rescued and recovered. But again, you know, a lot of fun. Today we were in the Grand Anse area. It's not as windy as yesterday, but flatter water and shorter races, which are a little more suitable for the boat, but it's also a bit of fun. I think this is one of the better years in terms of participation and the number of different types of classes and so on, you know, because a class is a group of boats that are similar, and so they're competitive. This is the first time this marina, Camper Nicholson Port Louis, is in fully operational, and it shows. As you can see, a lot of boats and so on, and lots and lots of boats are here visiting Grenada, which is good. It has put us on the map and so on. So I think because of this facility, I think this sailing festival will continue to grow. I mean, it has always been there. It's waxed and waned, you know, but we have a good team this year putting it together, and as a competitor I'm very happy with the level of organization and professionalism. I think it has a strong future.
Ora Morris, one of the crew members from Trinidad, sailing on board Jaguar, and Russel from the boat Fadeaway from Barbados, also had very good days of sailing. And the sailor says it has been nothing but fun and excitement.
My husband's been coming with our first boat, Morning Tide, and he was quite successful with Morning Tide, which was a much smaller boat. It was an SNS 34. But this is his second year with Jaguar, which is a 43-foot German for us. So last year he was okay, but we don't know what's going to happen this year. So.
Still, how long did it take you from Trinidad to Grenada?
I'm not quite sure. I didn't sail over, I flew over, but he sailed up, and they had quite a difficult crossing. It's the sea. Coming over from Trinidad to Grenada is always one of the most difficult ones. And apparently it was even worse than yesterday, the waters. So the ones who sailed over said, you know, gosh, it was really, really bad.
Your impressions of the festival so far?
Oh, lovely. It was a very, very excellent organization. You know, and last time was quite organized, was quite enjoyable.
Grenada Sailing Festival, we sailed in the J24 class, and this boat is a J24 boat. We sailed on another boat called Jabalani last year. So we did the Sailing Festival in 2009. So this is our second time doing the J24 class in the Sailing Festival. We came second last year, so we back to try to improve that position a little bit this year. The South Coast races yesterday, there were 2 races up the South Coast yesterday, and it is extremely challenging. I don't think none of the other islands in the region that sail J24s, because we sail J24s in Grenada, Trinidad, St. Lucia, Bequia, Dominica, Barbados. They're J24s in pretty much all of those areas. So we sail around the region quite a lot, but we've never had a situation, we never had conditions as rough as the conditions that we had on the South Coast in Grenada, both last year and this year as well. It really tests the boats. It tests the boats and the crews to be able to race out there, these small boats in those high winds. We were told that we had about 30 knot winds yesterday, gusting a little bit higher. And that's quite a lot for a small boat, plus the waves and the conditions there are quite a lot for a small boat, and the races are long. So Grenada is the more challenging of the J24 regattas in this part of the Caribbean. There are typically 5 crew members on a J24. You would have a helmsman driving the boat, you have a trimmer who will control the sail trims, and we have a mastman, one person in the cockpit that usually would do tactics and strategy, and then a foredeck or a bowman, that's the person up at the front of the boat helping to get the spinnaker up and get the spinnaker back down. So typically there's a crew of 5. In this class you can sail with a minimum of 4, and you can sail with more than 5 people, but on these boats typically you will find 5 people racing. So it's a little bit of a small looking boat, but there's a big crew on the boat, and everybody is extremely busy when this boat is racing. There's no time really to sit down and relax, and this is not sailing with a beer in one hand and a cigarette in the other hand. This is hard work when we go out there to sail, and everybody's busy.
Another avid sailor is this English visitor who comes to Grenada primarily to sail, and this is what he has to say about the Sailing Festival.
The Sailing Festival helps a lot too, because it's very exciting. As Leon said, it's a challenge against the elements, and it's man against the elements, and man against man, and sometimes we've won a couple of times, and that's been fantastic.
So you've had the opportunity to go sail as well too?
Yes. I've been today, and every year I hope that I can get on a boat and sail, and it really is very rewarding and very joyous thing to do.
Just tell us the feeling, and so when you're actually out there, you're sailing and you're enjoying the beauty of the island as well as seeing all the different boats out there. What sort of feeling that gives you?
Well, it must be something like being a bird, I think. You're flying through the water like a bird flies through the air, and you can see, as you said, everything, all the good aspects of it. Also, it's a challenge, make no mistake, it can be a dangerous sport as well. So you have to keep your wits about you, and therefore your senses are heightened. But when you win, it's absolutely fantastic. Even when you don't win, it's not too bad. The racing was a unique Grenadian experience for me, which my friend invited me to do, and I've been forever grateful of that, because it is a highlight of my life.
Just what forms a highlight of the festival? Well, it depends on what the sailor terms the highlight.
Depends on who you talk to. For some people it's the drinking of the rum. No, I don't think so. No, it's the actual sailing. The sailing, getting out, the friends, the whole atmosphere, people that are gathered with a single interest, which is racing. Racing a boat it's a very satisfying thing, challenging, and it's nice. You're out on the water, you're using only nature to propel you. You have to fight the waves and fight your competition. So yeah, it's that would be the challenging thing. Challenging things too is putting crews together, keeping your boat in shape so that what happened to us doesn't happen, doesn't get overstressed and break. It is an expensive sport.
Apart from all the hard work put out by the Grenada Sailing Festival Committee and private interests, there are tremendous economic benefits.
If you look around, there are people building things. There's a gentleman building a door. There are people working on the dock, people cleaning boats. There's a restaurant operating with lots of staff. There's a little store selling food, ice. There's another one doing boat repair. There are boutiques. There are people cleaning the boats. There are taxis. There are dock charges. This is a spin-off. Plus, the people who come, and that's the yachting industry in general, but the people who come, they spend money, they see Grenada, they will invest, they come back on vacation, they talk about Grenada, they're the best advertising medium, I think, word of mouth. So it all redounds to the benefit of Grenada.
After the sailing was all over, came the prize-giving function at the Victory Bar, which had amongst its guests the Minister of Tourism, Honorable Glenys Roberts, who encouraged the sailors to bring more of their friends to the 2011 event.
Yachting is a very important part of our economic intake. And as we, as a small country, you know of the world economic crisis, and for you to take the time to come to Grenada in record numbers, I want you to give yourselves a very loud round of applause.
It's been about 4 years since we first came to Grenada and found this fantastic site for a marina. It was very derelict when we came. We spent the first 2 or 3 years getting it cleaned up and tidied up. We've worked with Camper Nicholson very closely for the last couple of years, developing what you see today. And we hope to keep going for the next few years to finish it off, get it all built up. We've got a lot of work still to do, about 1 million square feet to build of apartments, shops, hotels and things to come. So you'll see a lot of changes at Port Louis as you keep coming back year after year. But we hope to carry on working with the Sailing Festival for many years to come and make this into, hopefully, the biggest event in the Caribbean.
Pictures.
On behalf of my crew, I'd like to thank all the organizers. They've done a great job, great courses, lovely racing. The weather gods were good to us. And I'd like to thank Champy Evans and his crew who have beaten us for the first time in his whole life. Well done, Champy.
It's been very difficult, but we have to make a decision, and it was entirely mine. And the overall winner of the Grenada Sailing Festival 2010 is Storm from Trinidad and Tobago with a brand new trophy for 2010 and 4 bottles of champagne and British Airways tickets to London. Pick up the champagne, guys. 2010 champions, the overall winners of the Grenada Sailing Festival, sponsored by Port Louis and Camper Nicholson, with co-sponsors Digicel, Scotiabank, United Insurance, all our other sponsors. Congratulations, Storm.